All right, so let's talk about repetition speed or the velocity of each of your repetitions. And it does matter, but it's all goal dependent. So one of the main things you have to consider is what performance markers am I going for? Am I going for a total amount of weight? Am I kind of in a gym bro bodybuilding type mindset? So you have to kind of ask yourself that first when you consider your repetition speed. So one repetition is one full revolution of uh, the lift. So from bench press, it's from the unrack, the straight arms, down to touch your chest, and pressing it straight back up to a pause position at the top. So that's one full repetition. So, when you're doing those kind of movements, if you're a power lifter, the whole idea is load is king. How can I move the most amount of weight? Well, the main thing to consider um, is the repetition under control down, touching your chest, and then accelerating back up for one full revolution. The whole idea for powerlifting is to spend the least amount of time underneath the bar as possible to complete one full repetition. So repetition speed needs to be controlled down, touch legally, and then press the bar back up with as much force as possible. Um, Replicating that exact bar path, position, form coordination, etc., all those things. But for bodybuilding, some of the ideas are time under tension. So um, the eccentric portion, or the control on the way down, that long, full range of motion, and not necessarily focusing on getting the bar off your chest as quick as possible, but spending as much time, I would say, not necessarily damaging the muscle, but performing that very controlled eccentric, um, and having as much muscle shearing as possible to create some quote unquote metabolic fatigue or muscular damage with as much tension as possible on the way down and on the way up. So the performance of that repetition for bodybuilders is probably the most important thing in making sure that weight is effective. So it's different. Um, you don't want speedy reps and working on like bar velocity when you're doing bodybuilding movements, but for powerlifting, it can be a key thing. Also, I coach shot put and discus, so sometimes we worry about bar speed and replicating the forces out there for our throws. So just something to keep in mind. Rep speed can be a key thing.